Hey, it's Lemon. Welcome to the Backlogs. My god, can you believe it's 2024 already? Probably doesn't help that 2023 was so hectic and wild. I could barely remember what happened. Then again, I can't remember what I got for Christmas. Was it a PS4? Maybe a GameCube? Who knows. What I do know is that I've got a lot of games to play this year, and not a lot of time to play them. My backlog has literally gotten at least 25% larger since I started this channel. You know, the channel that was supposed to help me work through them all? Definitely goofed that one up. Not sure exactly where I went wrong. Oh yeah. Okay, yeah, that one's on me. You know what? Let's make it a New Year's resolution. This year, I'm gonna play as many games from my backlog as I can. How hard can that be? To start us off, let's play, how about, no, that one would take forever to learn. Maybe, do y'all just wanna play Diablo 2 again? Ah, Diablo 2. Back when games could just tell you, hey, go kill the devil, and no one batted an eye. I'll be honest, I just need something easy right now. This holiday season was a bit much. So today, we're gonna find out. Can you beat Diablo 2 with only poison? So, let's talk about what we're doing here. For those of you who have been around the channel for a while, you know I have three favorite sources of damage when it comes to games. Massive damage from parries and ripostes, anything that causes damage over time, and firebombs. And since we've already cleared Diablo 2 with firebombs, and we attempted to beat the game with thorns, which is about as close to riposting as you can get in Diablo 2, it's time to finish the cycle. For this run, I've chosen the Druid as our class of choice, because he has several poison skills that don't require you to do any physical damage, and can get them very early on. Level 2, in fact. But that leaves us with the ever-pressing question, how the heck are we gonna get to level 2? Well, for those of you who have been watching the footage, you've probably figured it out by now. But for my fellow gamers who listen to my videos while working or gaming themselves, first off, I see you, and I appreciate you. And second off, the answer is poison shrines. As luck would have it, my Bloodmoor map has a shrine right outside the rogue encampment, which means all I have to do is step outside the front door, check to see if it's a poison shrine, and when it isn't, start and quit to reset the map. In an offline game, the map itself will remain the same when you quit out, but the shrines will all change. And after about half an hour of resetting the map, I've got a poison shrine. After that is a simple matter of making sure the game is on the hardest difficulty, luring some enemies from the cold plains over, kiting an entire squadron of fallen demons as well, for good measure, then inviting them all in for a hug around the poison shrine. And there you go, level 2 with just poison damage. Which then unlocks our next skill, Poison Creeper. Costing a meager 8 mana to summon, this little buddy sticks around until an enemy is able to kill it, and attacks enemies periodically, dealing 12 to 18 poison damage over 4 seconds. Which doesn't sound like all that much, until you realize that the enemies at this point in the game don't have much health, and that each and every attack the creeper makes creates a patch of poisonous vines that trigger the poison effect in any enemy that steps on them. So yeah, not bad. Combine that with the fact that I don't have to do anything at all, and you've got the ultimate lazy build. You thought Paladin auras were bad? Just wait till you see this thing in action. Exhibit A. These enemies are still on players 8, so they're literally as hard as they can possibly be, and I'm just walking around picking up free XP. I don't even have to target enemies. The vine does that on its own. My only job is to avoid getting hit and collect all the loot as it pops out of enemy corpses. That's right, we're officially the sidekick in this adventure. I mean, look at this. The Den of Evil is only half cleared, and I'm already at level 5. The creeper is doing somewhere in the range of 50 damage to each enemy it touches, and it's touching everything in sight. Diablo 2 just became a walking simulator. And after a few minutes of casual walking through the dark caverns, we've done it. Den of Evil clear without a single cast. Not too shabby. You know what? You need a name. Every hero has a name, and I'm just the sidekick today. You do have a passion for touching things you're probably not supposed to, and you're a plant. Oh, for Pete's sake, I should have known. Harvey, is that you? That's right, everyone's favorite Eldritch vegetable is back, and he's doing so good. There is the odd moment or two where Harvey gets a bit distracted with the Fallen, since they have a nasty habit of resurrecting, which kinda puts Harvey in an endless loop, but it's a simple enough fix. Just resummon Harvey underneath the summoner demons, and the newly grown vine will attack them first, eliminating the problem and giving Harvey free reign to kill all those around him without issue. As a test, I bring Harvey over to the next mini-boss of the run, Bloodraven. And, as expected, the undead hordes fall with ease. Bloodraven herself takes a little longer to dispatch, but between Harvey's hugs and his creeping vines all over the map, it's only a matter of time before she succumbs to his love. Maybe squeeze a little softer next time, pal. So with that out of the way, it's just a matter of pushing forward, really. Harvey's damage is off the charts at the moment, doing almost 100 damage over 4 seconds, which is enough to kill even players 8 enemies with a single touch. So, without much thought, I continue along the path, marching through the underground passage with minimal effort, then through the tower's 5 floors. When I finally do encounter the Countess at the bottom floor, Harvey tells me to wait outside while he handles the boss. Being the good sidekick that I am, I respect his wishes, and after a few seconds of combat noises, I hear the telltale sounds of piles of gold falling to the floor to tell me that Harvey was victorious. I'm not sure what happened in here, but I'm sure glad you're on my side. Moving right along, I push through the dark wood, with Tree Fist putting up about as much fight as a wet napkin, read over some ancient text that probably could have just been told to me in an email, summon a portal to Tristram, dutifully save Deckard Cain while Harvey slaughters everything in the surrounding area, then decide that it's probably time Harvey and I move to Act 2 and enter the monastery. Nothing to see here, just some casual walking through dark corridors while an Eldritch Potato Vine murders demons by the hundreds. I should play this game at Players 8 more often. My druid is level 17, and Harvey is doing a solid 200-ish damage with every hug. I haven't been able to find any equipment that's really worth talking about, but considering the speed with which we're flying through the game, grinding for equipment that would help my build would probably take more time than it's worth. And besides, we finally unlocked our second and final poison skill of the run, Rabies. When in werewolf form, I can bite enemies, doing between 75 and 175 poison damage. This poison is also transmissible, which means that if an enemy I've bitten touches other enemies, it'll spread the rabies to them, meaning one cast could result in several kills if the group is large enough. On top of that, every point in the rabies skill gives Harvey an additional 10% damage, and every point in Poison Creeper gives rabies an additional 20%, which is absolutely massive. Now, it is worth noting that when you transform into a werewolf, the weapon in your hands is added to the rabies damage, which would be a problem if I was wielding a traditional weapon, since that would add physical damage to my attack. However, because I've been running around with poison pots in my weapon slot, the only thing being added to my rabies is more poison damage, so we're all good there too. In fact, the only real problem I'm facing at the moment with this build is my mana consumption. Attacking with rabies is not a guaranteed hit, but every attempt still costs mana, not to mention the transformation cost of turning into a werewolf beforehand. Considering using rabies also puts me in the line of fire, since I have to get into melee range, and this skill is just overall a bit of a letdown. I'm sure it'll help in the future when I need more damage, but as of right now, Harvey's damage is so massive that it's just not worth it. So, with nothing more than a poisonous potato vine between me and one of the more powerful demons of hell, I think it's time we gave Andariel a visit, don't you? Harvey does his thing and touches all the enemies inside the arena, but does a little too well and accidentally lures Andariel out. And, as expected, Andy is very tanky when it comes to poison damage. Not immune, but certainly not weak to it like everything else we've seen thus far. I initially tried to help Harvey out with some rabies bites, which hurt like hell, but after a while, I realized I was just getting in Harvey's way and did what any good sidekick would do. I stayed out of harm's way and gave emotional support from the sidelines. And, after only a few minutes of running around the blood pool, Andariel eventually realizes that she's been outmatched and outpoisoned, and bites the dust. 1 act down, 4 more to go. I help Harvey fight Radamant, since he's yet another boss who's resistant to poison damage, which ends exactly the way you'd expect. Then pick up the Heredic Cube from the Halls of the Dead with 0 issues. I follow that up with an enjoyable jaunt through the Maggot Lair to get the Staff of Kings, fumble my way through the dark in search of the Valley of Snakes while all the enemies behind me keel over for no reason whatsoever, then begin my exploration of the Claw Viper Temple, which also, inexplicably, is absolutely littered with salamander corpses. Being a sidekick is weird, man. I eventually find the Amulet of the Viper just lying on the floor, for Harvey has no need for trinkets and baubles, craft the magical MacGuffin that we need to push forward, then make my way to the portal entrance of the Arcane Sanctuary. I sure hope Harvey can survive out here. Nothing but marble floors and empty space as far as the eye can see. Yeah, he's fine. I find the exit on the second way, along with the summoner's body, already cold on the ground. Realize with horror that I've been playing on autopilot so hard that I didn't even notice that Harvey's already reached max level, and reached the end of Act 2 in a manner that can only be described as a fitful dream. You know when you drive home from work and you can't remember a single turn or stop you made, but you find yourself sitting in your driveway anyway? Basically that. At least Harvey's happy. Well, nothing else forward, I guess. Let's see how bad Duriel is. I set up a safety teleport for, safety, then enter the arena. And so begins the hardest fight in the game. Duriel hits hard, and Harvey, though doing his best, is struggling to dish out damage. Harvey does act as a distraction, which gives me time to heal, but it's only a matter of time before we both succumb to the cold and... Wait a minute. I'm an idiot. I've been having such an easy time, I forgot that we've been playing on Players 8. Alright, let's try this again. Duriel still hits like a truck, so that hasn't changed, but Harvey is definitely doing a bit more damage now, and is able to withstand a few more hits as well, which means that every time Duriel gets distracted by Harvey and makes a point of ripping him out of the ground, I have plenty of time to chug a health pot and restock my belt. And so, with just a little bit of potion juggling and only 1 or 2 close calls, Duriel dies to Harvey's hugs just like all the rest. First try Duriel. Never thought I'd see the day. Well damn, Duriel's always been the brick wall that keeps each run from progressing. If Duriel was easy, I can't imagine what the rest of the game's gonna be like. Oh wait, yes I can. It's easy. Incredibly, ridiculously, stupidly easy. That's Mephisto over there, by the way. And that's Mephisto dying of his own accord, which means we're on to Act 4. I know it feels like we didn't talk about Act 3 at all, and you're right, we didn't. But the only thing that gave me any grief that entire act was trying to figure out how to carry all the loot Harvey was leaving around. I can't carry all of this, there's too much and it's all different sizes. What am I supposed to do with all of this? Moving right along, maybe the super demons of hell itself will slow Harvey down. Oh yeah, Elder God trumps demons. I forgot. At this point, there's no reason to take things slow. We've got about all the XP and damage we could ever want, and now it's just a matter of finishing the game. I sprint my way to Diablo's arena, letting Harvey hug Lord Desace to death with more than a little satisfaction. Scurry back to the center of the arena to find that Diablo is a bit early to the party and ready to rumble, then take up my sidekick position once more. Only there's a slight problem. Harvey, bless his beautiful heart, is very protective of me, and Diablo has a bone prison attack that I can't break out of, since I don't really have any methods of attack. Even when I'm free of the bone prison, Harvey has it in his head that the last 2 segments of the prison are still a threat, and won't leave them until they die. And wouldn't you know it, Diablo somehow glitched the segments Harvey is interested in into the walls themselves, which means Harvey can't actually destroy them and is stuck on an endless loop. Eventually, I decided to take a risk and face off against Diablo near his bonfires instead of the relative safety of the walls, which did get Harvey out of his loop, but also opened me up to more attacks than I would like. And though it took a few more health pots than expected, eventually, Harvey hugs Diablo to death like all the rest, and the Lord of Darkness is officially defeated. Only one more demon lord to go. On to Act 5. I sprint my way past the siege, ignoring all the cries for help from my barbarian friends, and eventually sprint my way to the frigid highlands where I... Uh-oh. Well, shit. The easiest run I've ever done in this game, stopped by a wooden door. Well played, Diablo 2. Well played. Unfortunately for the game, though, thinking outside the box is kinda my job at this point, and I seem to recall passing by several screaming barbarians on my way here. Several screaming barbarians who have an unnatural hatred of wooden doors. And after saving and escorting one such barbarian, ta-da! Wooden door smashed. Whew, that was almost embarrassing. I casually walk through the ice caves, arrive at Ariat's summit, do some more speed walking around the plateau while Harvey plays the hero, and after a few short minutes, we're on to the last challenge of the game. Let's do this. Hello, Bale. Hope you're ready. Harvey's got a hunger that... Oh, okay, I guess we're starting now. The first wave is just fallen demons. Nothing too notable there. And the second wave is just a bunch of skeletons and unravelers, which again is nothing worth Uh-oh. Well, I'll be damned. That is quite literally the first poison immune enemy I've seen all game. And here I thought we were home free. What's worse, this enemy doesn't move much at all, so it doesn't look like I can trick the game into starting the next wave by luring all the enemies out of the arena either. This might be it. Is what I would say, if not for one thing. I don't know why or how, but after several minutes of fidgeting just outside of the Unraveler's range, something miraculous happened. It started to chase me. Not one to pass up an opportunity, I quickly lured the Unraveler out of the arena, then sprinted back to Bale to trigger the next wave of council members. I don't know if the game had an AI leak or what, but a victory is a victory, and we take those. If you've got any idea what the heck happened, feel free to put your guesses in the comments. I've got nothing. After that wave is the Demon Lords, which give Harvey very little trouble, and after that is a wave of Deathclaws, which are very overpowered and have way too much damage and health, even for Harvey. Thankfully, they're extremely easy to lure out of the arena, which means it's just a short jaunt back to Bale to start the final fight of the game. The epic battle to end all battles. The final conclusion that will determine the fate of the world. The conflict of the ages. Yeah, no, I just sat behind pillars while Harvey did his thing. Yep, basically just that. I mean, I did have to run out a few times to remind Harvey that Bale was the target and not his tentacles, but other than that, this fight was pretty much like all the rest. Ah well, not all endings can be epic. But with Bale destroyed, the world is saved from evil once more. All thanks to an Eldritch Vine and his faithful mule. Aw, I love you too, pal. And there you go. Diablo 2 beaten with only poison damage. A fantastic start to 2024. If you're struggling with the game, adding Harvey to your skill roster is definitely a power move. Little guy could beat the entire game himself, so I can only imagine what adding some of the stronger druid skills to your run would do. But in any case, that's all I've got. Thanks for sticking through to the end of the video, and I hope you're as excited as I am for all the shenanigans I have in store for this year. Take care of yourselves, be good to one another, and I'll see you all again soon.